What is hoisting in JavaScript? Hoisting appears to be a process of moving function declarations, variables, or classes to top of the scope prior to the code execution. Based on the behavior, we can classify hoisting under three categories. The first one is the value hoisting, where we will be using a variable's value in its scope before the line is declared. One classic example would be the function declarations. And then we have the declaration hoisting, where we are referencing a variable in its scope before the line is declared. One example would be the where keyword declarations. And then we have the lexical hoisting, where lexical declarations which causes behavioral changes in its scope before the line in which it is declared. Examples would be let, const, and class declarations. Now let's see hoisting in detail. So first is the value hoisting. We are having a function print which is taking two arguments and it is returning a concatenated value of a string which is concatenating the two arguments. And I am trying to access this print function before it is declared. So for value hoisting, we can actually access the particular function and it will not throw any error. Okay, we can use that variable value. So the interpreter will be assuming that this function will be moved to the top of the scope during the memory creation phase, and then we are trying to access this particular function, and hence it will not throw any error. It will provide these arguments to this function and it will be printing I am having JavaScript interview without any error. Okay, so this particular function will be moved to the top of the scope during the memory creation phase, and when we are trying to invoke this particular function, it will not throw any error. Okay, so the functions will be available across that particular scope, and that's regarding value hoisting. Then we have the declaration hoisting. In this declaration hoisting, I have one particular variable x equal to 3 and I'm trying to access this particular x value of x before it is declared and initialized. But what does the interpreter do? Interpreter will actually move this var x equal to to the top of the scope during the memory creation phase. So it will be assumed like this, var x equal to with an initial value of undefined. Okay, and it would be available in the global object. Okay, and when we are trying to print that particular x, it will have this initial value of undefined, and hence it would be printed undefined rather than printing 3, and it will not throw a reference error even before it is declared. We are actually invoking this x, but it will not throw any reference error, rather than it will be printing undefined, which is the initial value that has been set during the memory creation phase. So that is regarding declaration hoisting. So then we have the lexical hoisting. So lexical hoisting is applicable to variables like let, const, and class declarations. And here what happens is, here also these particular variables are hoisted, but it is having a different concept. Rather than the var keyword, let and const, actually it is having a temporal dead zone. Temporal dead zone means it is the time frame from start of the block until it is initialized. So const a equal to 3 means it is having in this block, if we are trying to access a before even it is initialized, then it will be throwing a reference error. So for variables that is under lexical scope, so in that case, it will be throwing reference error before it is accessed, before it is initialized. Okay, so in this particular case, you can see console.log of I am trying to access even before it is declared and initialized. So in that case, it will be throwing reference error. Okay, so if it is console.log of b we are trying to access before it is declared and initialized, so it will be throwing a reference error. But after it is initialized and if you are accessing b, then that time it will not throw an error because the temporal dead zone time frame has been completed. So whenever you are accessing a variable, lexical variable, after the temporal dead zone time frame is completed, then it will not throw an error. If it is within that temporal dead zone time frame, it will throw a reference error if you are trying to access that. So if you see here, So you can see a reference error cannot access A before initialization. Okay, but if I comment this out, okay, if I comment this out and I'm commenting, okay, so let's see for B also, now it will be saying cannot access B before initialization. But if I comment this out, so now we are trying to printing B after it is initialized. So in that case, 3 is printed without any error. So once the temporal dead zone time frame is completed, we can successfully print the value. So here there is an example where it is showing a block. So where it is saying that the temporal dead zone starts at the beginning of the scope and it ends as soon as it is initialized. So that's it regarding hoisting.